How many of you went for a walk today in the morning? Raise of hands. How many took a dip in the swimming pool? How many went to the gym in the morning? No one. Wow. You're about to get it rough. So the next presenter is Dr. Esther Dindi. We all know her. She's a highly sought clinical consultant physician and a wellness expert with over 19 years of experience. She works at Avenue, and we all know that she has a lot of interest in wellness. Karibu sana daktari. Please, bash us. We are ready.
Good morning. I just got here, so, he talked about wellness, and I think the word wellness has how many letters? Well is already 4, ness is 4, so that makes it 8. So please, if you may, could you get up on your feet? I'm not going to be asking much of you, just 8 squats, 8 squats. And this is going to be very simple. I know it's been a while since you did any exercise, so what you're going to be doing is just, you're on your feet, so we are going to go down for 1. So you just tap your seat, that's for 1. Okay, so what is going to happen, if you've been working out, it's very easy. You just do some air squats and get up. But if the last time you did a workout, it was during the days of Vasco da Gama, then you can just tap your seat and get up. So let's go for 1. I will join those who have not been working out. So let's go 1. Everybody down. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Awesome, you're well. That's something you can do at your desk. That's something you can do in between seeing your patients at the clinic. So it's very practical. I will not belabor in reintroducing myself. I hope I know how to use the green. This one. Thank you very much. I feel very educated right now. So in the diabetes management triad, at the very pinnacle is nutrition. And then at the base, we have exercise and medication. I know as medics, it's very easy to focus a lot on just the medication and forget that lifestyle. That is what the patient is eating and how much they move is very important. So I do not want us to forget that exercise is part of management of diabetes. So it's actually the orphan baby in diabetes care. I know, like when we see patients, we'll talk about the diet, we'll talk about medication. In fact, some of us clinicians never mention the diet, which is very crucial. And then if you're not mentioning that, there is no way you'll even remember there's something called exercise. So we know you just go straight to medication. Hey, your sugars are high. I'm just going to add this medication. We do not remember to help our patients modify their lifestyle. Because a lot has been done in the last 10 years, if you are to look back, a lot. And I mean, if you compare the number of medications that were there for the control of diabetes 10 years ago and what we have right now, it's incredible. So there's that focus on medication, but we are forgetting about the very important things that are the foundation of management of diabetes. And why are we uncomfortable about prescribing exercise? Why are we uncomfortable? Because we don't do it. If you don't know the way there, you can't show anyone how to get there. And so the key to turning the tide is practicing what we preach. Practicing what we preach. But we are even afraid of preaching because we are not practicing. So I want you to start practicing so it can be very easy to preach. You will not even need a lot of preaching. Patients will look at you and ask you, how can I get there? So it's very important. So when you exercise consistently, you're able to prescribe boldly. I must confess, when I'm running the physician clinic, I'm in my scrubs. I hardly wear the lab coat. Why? They will see my biceps. Yeah, because I've been working them. They will see. And it will be so easy. When I'm talking about lifestyle, they sit up straight. They want to hear more. Why? Because I look the part. So, physician, heal thyself. We have so much knowledge, but our attitude and practices could be very different. It is very hard to help our patients adopt something where we are actually not doing. And what I like us to remember is that we are not different from our patients. They might be sick today, you could be sick tomorrow. We have the same kind of bodies. We are not immune to illnesses. So that same lifestyle we want our patients to adopt, we should be able to adopt the same and lead from the front. Because in escalators, there are lifts, but there are also stairs. Have you discovered where the staircase is? Do you know where the staircase is? Or you're always there waiting, talking to the security guy to excuse you before the patients, and because you're the doctor, you're rushing to see a patient, you can't use the staircase. Those are simple ways you can incorporate physical activity into your daily living. And as we are growing older, every second that's passing, you're growing older, like it or not. As long as you're alive, age is inevitable. We are aging. With age, if you do nothing, you're going to have sarcopenia. You are going to have accelerated osteoporosis. What is it that you're doing to ensure that you keep your muscle mass, you retain a good bone mineral density as you grow older? Exercise is more crucial for you now than last year. It's more important today than it was yesterday. What are you doing about it? So prescription of exercise is simple. Just think about it. You need to warm up. I mean, when you just wake up and you're feeling sluggish, the muscles are so, you know, as in, you don't just feel like working out. You need to warm up your muscles for about 5 minutes. And this is important because for our patients with diabetes, they also tend to have hypertension. You want to have a gradual rise in the heart rate. You have to have a gradual rise in the blood pressure. And the same thing needs to happen at the end of the workout, that 5 to 10 minutes of cool down so they can get their heart rate coming down, the blood pressure as well. So there's the warm-up period, then the period of the intense exercise, and a cool down period. So of course, if someone hasn't been working out, they have to start gradually so they don't just plunge in. Start with easy exercises. It's quite detailed, but you have to be realistic of where the patient is at. So I'll not belabor that point. And the good thing is that we even have trained exercise physiologists, you know, clinical exercise physiologists, we have trainers and all that. And of course, in the classification of exercise, I know this is like common knowledge. This is the aerobic exercise, you know, where you're continuously doing something at a stable pace and it's rhythmic, like running, walking, jogging, that kind of stuff. And swimming as well, which is very friendly for most of our patients who could even have things like osteoarthritis. So, and then there's the strength or resistance exercise, which is very, very important because many times when we talk to our patients, we focus on the aerobic exercise. And a little bit of something is much better than nothing, of course. So if that is what they're able to do, that's fair enough. But we still need to recommend resistance training. This is strength training. If someone is just starting out, you're talking about things like squats, as simple as what you are doing, standing and sitting. It can be that simple. If your patient is doing 100 of those in a day, they're already making some progress. You know, push-ups, but there's now using some weight, so they might need someone with the technical know-how to be able to guide them. But it is important because when they build some bit of body mass, that is especially muscle, they become more insulin sensitive. So it's very important that they not only do aerobic exercise, but they also do some strength training. And then flexibility, it's quite good. You know, someone was asking me, how do you get to reach the back when you're showering? Because they struggle, they have to get something to scratch. But flexibility can help you quite a bit, so you can reach many parts of your body. But it's also good for balance and many other things. So there are many components to exercise that I wouldn't go into, but starting somewhere is always beneficial. And so how much, you know, what is the amount of physical activity that promotes health? Like I said, it's always good to start. Something is better than nothing. But then there's what has been shown to be actually beneficial. And we know that one should have, like the recommendations across the board is that we have at least 150 minutes of some form of aerobic exercise spread out through the week. This is very important. You just don't say that I hiked Mount Longonot, you know, over the week and it took me this hour so that I've covered for 2 weeks. No, it has to be regular, it has to be consistent. And by the way, the 150 minutes is the bare minimum. It's like someone in their 20s, in their 30s talking about walking is my form of exercise. Yeah, it's not bad, but if you're doing walking as your only form of exercise at that age, what will you be doing at 90? I mean, so right now, do everything. Do strength, do walking. So at 90, when you tell me you're walking, I'm like, yeah, I understand you've lived for some time. So anyway, so moderate intensity physical activity is very important. And the energy expenditure, you know, the metabolic expenditure of a task. When you're just seated, you're at level 1. But you need to get to at level 3 to 6, you know, something that is making you a bit breathless, but you can have some conversation, but with a bit of breathlessness. So you need to exert yourself. And you can do that 30 minutes a day, 5 times of the week. That is 150. So that's little, but it's a good starting point. And it doesn't have to be all at once. If you can have at least 10 minutes at a go, or 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, that is going to get you somewhere. But aim at intensifying. Either you increase duration or increase intensity, and that has to be, you know, gradual. And then for you who is already healthy, relatively healthy, if you've checked yourself, push yourself so you can also prevent some of these complications. So exercise and type 1 diabetes, of course, exercise in anyone will improve physical fitness. It increases self-confidence. Of course, there are feel-good hormones that come after a workout. There are days you'll be feeling lethargic, but when you work out, you actually feel energetic. It improves cardiovascular function, and then, of course, the risk profile for coronary heart disease. It has no direct effect on glucose control. That is in type 1. Because type 1 is because they do not have adequate insulin in their body, or they have no insulin. So it doesn't have so much impact on the HbA1c as it does for type 2s. And then proper timing of exercise and insulin, because there might have to be adjustments in terms of the insulin regimen so the patient does not end up in hypoglycemia. And remember, sometimes when they exercise, the blood sugar goes up, especially if it's intense or strength training because of the glycolytic effects of the exercise. So, and then it's important to advise the patients. I know the diabetologists, you know, all these details, because after a workout, they are at risk of hypoglycemia, and the effect can actually be protracted all the way to 24 hours or more. So you don't want them to get hypoglycemic in sleep, especially type 1s who are just on insulin. So in type 2 diabetes, I feel that it's even much more important to have exercise in type 2 diabetes, just because it's a condition of insulin resistance, and exercise is one of those things that actually does improve insulin sensitivity. And so it improves glucose control by improving insulin sensitivity. What happens is that during exercise, insulin is able to move into the cells because of the GLUT4 transporters. They get migrated to the cell surface, and then they can actually have glucose going into the cells without the requirement of insulin. And therefore, you're improving insulin sensitivity. And so this was some old study. I don't think there's much being done on exercise. It's this common knowledge that everyone should know, that exercise improves the management of diabetes. And so there isn't much being done. And of course, because there'll not be much perks just from telling people to move. No one is making a lot of money out of that. So, but it's very important. It is very important. But looking at this, that the response of 100 grams of glucose in mild type 2 diabetes, we see that with exercise, actually, the plasma glucose tends to drop faster than, just excuse me. So before exercise and after exercise, that the blood sugar level tends to go down faster. I think I will not dwell much on that one. So how do we prescribe exercise for diabetics? So I've already said that we need to have at least 30 minutes of exercise every day, and then it can be extended gradually. 1 hour is actually much better if we can encourage our patients. But slowly what happens when you're doing it, you tend to feel good, and the benefits will just promote doing more of exercise. And so that is good to do it most days of the week. If you can get to do 1 hour, that is fair enough. And then the target is actually 60 to 70% of maximum heart rate. And that's something that you can actually check online, calculate with your patient. It's very easy to do. And then I already talked about that it's important to have a warm-up and a cool-down. Those are actually, you don't want your patient to just do high intensity and just walk away. It's good to do the stretches, allow the heart rate to also come down. It's very important. And then it must involve major muscle groups. Things like squats, things like push-ups, things that are, and then of course even walking, jogging, they're just those things that will work quite a bit of muscle groups in the body. So that should be highly recommended. You don't want just to move your arms alone, you want to move the entire body. And it must be regular, because people who know, if you enrolled in a gym like some people do, and then you went there, New Year resolutions, but after January you forgot about the New Year resolutions. Whenever you go back, it's like you're starting afresh. Of course, there's the muscle memory, but you lose the benefits. So if you go for more than 1 or 2 weeks without exercise, even in terms of the insulin sensitivity, you are losing the gains that you've actually gained. So you need to encourage yourself and your patients to be consistent. So I usually say it's actually much better to do something small every day than to have something intense going for a long time, and then you get a lot of soreness, and you miss your workouts for 2 days. Then you start again afresh. Consistency over intensity is much more important. So, and then moderate intensity weight training is recommended to maintain muscle strength. And I told you, muscle mass is very important for insulin sensitivity. For those with feet problems, like our patients, maybe they've already had diabetes for a while, they're already having complications in terms of neuropathy, and sometimes even autonomic neuropathy. So it's just good to know that sometimes the patient's heart rate might not even be responding appropriately just because they already have neuropathy. That tells you gauging the level at which your patient is at is good. Sometimes some patients will require to be cleared by a cardiologist before they can even get into a routine, and start gently. Caution is also very important. So the shoes they are wearing is important. They must inspect their feet, all those things, just to ensure that they don't end up with other complications. So that is very important. So diabetics with peripheral neuropathy, because they might not have adequate sensation in the feet, it's just good to ensure they are not pounding so much on their feet, and that they know how to inspect them and get checked often, just to ensure that all is well. And so just to be cautious about ulcerations, fractures, and all that. So they need to limit weight bearing Of course, we say swimming is like the best and safest for most patients. Not really safe if you don't know how to swim. Like, it's not safe for me. It is not safe for me. Please don't throw me into the pool. So the patient has to know how to swim. But if they can, it's really ideal because it's gentle on the joints and still gets to work the entire body. Yeah, so. And then alternative exercises like swimming, bicycling, arm exercises, chair exercises. Like if you have a patient who is wheelchair bound, but they still have strength in the upper body, there are different variations that can actually be used, and you can start with the physiotherapist or get a trainer, just someone to make use of the muscles that are still functional and can be used. But it's just good to know that there are people with special needs. Proper shoes, and then always monitor the feet. That cannot be overemphasized. The shoes should not be tight. They should, just comfortable, and inspecting the feet. And always remember to be cautious and tell our patients reminding them about hypoglycemia awareness, and also know that some patients might not have that awareness. But it's good that they have a snack with them just in case something with high sugar, especially if they're going for a long exercise and they shouldn't skip their meals and all that. It's good to check the sugar even before they start exercising. That is a no-brainer, at least for the people in here. And then in summary, my time is now running out. So exercise should be done according to the FIT principle. That is frequency, 4 to 6 times of the week. Personally, I do it every weekday. But yeah, guys needed me here today, so I didn't get to exercise. But I will be doing that in the course of the day. Okay, I've walked from the car park to this place. That counts for something. Yeah, and then intensity, that should be like 60% of the target heart rate. And then it should be safe. And so you assess on patient-to-patient basis. Morning could be ideal, but it's interesting. I think there's something I came across about diabetics doing well with afternoon exercises. I don't know how come. But in the morning when you wake up, you have all those cortisol, adrenaline, and, helping you. Even exercising before a meal can still work because the other hormones helping you to generate sugar. So for physicians, the mantra should be, do as I do. But you can't tell your patient to do as you do if you're not doing the exercise. So we may lead the next 10 years from examples. So I don't know what it is that you're planning to do. I'm right on time. I kept my time. So let's agree that we are going to actually do as we preach. It's very easy to expect our patients to do some things, but we are not doing it ourselves. So if they look at us and see that we are already struggling in that area, they might not take it seriously. But make an effort. Wherever you are, there's still something you can do. Do some form of aerobic exercise. I said you can still start with walking and then advance, and do some strength training. YouTube, there are so many videos there that you can look at, even specifically for people with diabetes or hypertension. If you go search, you will find something. But start somewhere, be consistent. Let's encourage our patients. Let's do exercise. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Just stand here, next to me here. Can we all stand? All of us, can you stand? Stand, 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 stand. We're going to do 3 squats. 3. So on my count, 1, 2, 3, go down. 2, 3. You can sit. Thank you so much. Should I show you my biceps? That was an interesting presentation. I hope all of you have taken something. Please, exercise.